Hey guys, welcome to the channel and another video. Today I'm going to be watching Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior by George Miller, starring Mel Gibson. We're finally here guys, Mad Max 2. I just reviewed the first movie, Mad Max, on the channel a couple of weeks ago, I believe. And I honestly liked it. The link should be up there somewhere. Please check it out when you have the time. That's surprising because a lot of the comments told me to kind of skip this movie completely and just watch The Road Warrior instead, as it's considered a modern classic of an action film. I couldn't do that, and I'm actually glad that I got to see the first film. And that gave me a lot of insight into Max's character, why he's all quiet and reserved. It's because he loses his wife and child in such a horrible way. That scene was really horrifying. He's essentially a broken man without a purpose in a post-apocalyptic world. That's fascinating, and it's one of the reasons why I'm so excited for The Road Warrior. Where does Miller plan to take this character next is what interests me the most. I don't know whether it's a direct continuation of the previous film or if it's more of a standalone story. Regardless, I do have a better idea of who Max is as a person because I watched the first film. And judging by the reputation of this film, I'm sure I'm going to have a really good time with it. But before we get into it, to help support the channel, I have a Patreon page for full-length reviews and reactions to this movie and over 250 movies, 2 TV shows, early access, and weekly polls for what to watch next. Please consider being a patron. Please subscribe to the channel. Click that bell icon for instant notifications. Do check out my other videos. Like if you like this video. Feel free to dislike it if you didn't. With all that being said, let's get started. Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior, Miller, Gibson. Let's go. Kennedy Miller, Mel Gibson, Mad Max 2. So from what I understand, the movie's original name is Mad Max 2, but in a lot of markets it's called The Road Warrior, but it's essentially the same film. The Feral Kid, huh? Oh, the music is also composed by Brian May.
The vision dims.
Is this Max?
All that remains are memories. I remember the Road Warrior, the man we called Max.
Oh no, it's somebody else talking about Max.
When the world was powered by the black fuel.
Oh man, we're getting kind of like a flashback.
For reasons long forgotten, 2 mighty warrior tribes went to war. Their leaders talked and talked and talked.
But it went nowhere.
A whirlwind of looting. Men began to feed on men.
Damn, something like World War III happened and everything went down the drain.
The gangs took over the highways, ready to wage war for a tank of juice.
Like, fuel is a huge commodity in this world.
Ordinary men were battered and smashed. Men like Max, the warrior Max.
Oh man, they're showing his wife. Please don't show his kid too. Oh no, they're actually showing the scene. This was a horrific scene.
That he learned to live again.
So this movie is kind of like Max learning to live again. And I really feel like this intro was really well done for those who haven't watched the original film. We get a kind of a recap of the world we're in right now and who Max is. Oh man, he has a dog! And he's being chased by, I'm guessing, a gang. I can already tell I'm going to be enjoying these chase sequences. And I can also tell the budget is bigger for this one. Yeah, Max is still driving his car. I think it's called the Pursuit Special, right? It's a V8. The previous film had a semblance of a police force, but I don't think in this one a police force really exists. It looks more desolate and deserted and raw. I love Max's outfit, by the way, especially the prosthetic thing on his leg. It shows that his leg's injured, but there's no modern medicine to probably fix it, so kind of has to jerry-rig a support for his leg. You could tell that it was a prop. It didn't look super realistic, but that's okay. Yeah, this is definitely Australia, by the way. It is shot on location. I've driven around the outback. I can tell this is Australia. I've only been to 4 states in Australia. Dude, it's a mini helicopter. Is this a trap? It looks in good condition. Oh. It is a trap.
Down. Turn around.
Come on, Max. You can't fall for stuff like this.
Looks like I got myself some gasoline, eh? Hey? V8?
V8.
Huh?
Booby trapped.
Might have a weapon under there. I'd have to pin his head to the panel.
Don't play me the fool.
I forgot about the dog for a second. He was quiet all this time. What a good boy.
Thousands of gallons of as much as you want!
Where?
No.
Where?
Kill me and you'll never find out.
Max does need fuel after all.
Nice story,
The shotgun is rigged and the dog has the control. Wow, what a shot. You can tell that the set is huge compared to last time. The budget's definitely bigger.
I got the lot. Power lights, you name it. Like angry ants, mad with the smell of gasoline.
We've seen those gangsters before. Ah, okay, I get it. They're trying to steal the oil and the people inside the refinery are trying to defend it.
Look, we had a deal. I show you the gas and you let me go, right?
A fadeaway transition, which means some time has passed. Dinkity. Oh yeah, this must taste like heaven. Don't try it, my man. But you can see the number of vehicles, the number of extras, they've definitely gone up. Big fan of these landscape shots. But it also looks like the gang is leaving for the day. Another fadeaway transition. We got 3 of them in 10 minutes. So a lot of time has passed. I don't know what exactly is happening in this scene, but I kind of like the fact that it's not really explained. George Miller isn't trying to spoon feed the plot to the audience. I kind of appreciate that. Oh dude, what a crash. Oh man, it looks like one of the refiners from the community, he's being attacked by the gang. And he gave up, clearly. Look at that dude's telescope. A good bit of visual humor for you. Oh dude, that's horrible. Although I did not like that scene, that particular part, I kind of admire George Miller from not shying away from stuff like that, because that is kind of realistic, as horrible as it is. Oh man, they killed her. That's what you deserve, dude.
I'm just here for the gasoline.
As much as you like. Just take me back there.
So Max's plan here is to rescue this dude, bring him back to his community, in exchange, get some fuel. But the question is, will the community believe him? Dude, I think that's the feral child from the credits. And he has a little boomerang. The gate's actually a school bus. Yeah, I don't think Nathan's gonna really make it. Oh man, I just realized with Nathan dead, there's nobody to corroborate his story. They wouldn't believe him, right?
He said if I brought him back here, he'd give me some gas. There's not much time.
There was a woman in the car.
She's dead.
Oh man, he's dead.
If you had a contract, it was with him, and it died with him.
Oh no.
Get rid of him.
Move it. Come on.
They even got his V8. The Pursuit Special.
Close the gate!
Oh, that gang is back again. This would be a good opportunity to escape, Max. Yeah, that's a lot of them. Dude. They must be the people from the other vehicles. They chased them down. Yeah, they're being used as hostages. And this scene, them being tied in the front like this, reminds me of the new Mad Max movie. By new, I mean the 2015 one, where Tom Hardy's character was also tied up like a blood bag. I can see where they got the idea from.
Greetings from the Humongous.
The Humongous.
The Lord Humongous.
Lord Humongous.
The Ayatollah of rock and roller.
That's brilliant.
Again you have made me unleash my dogs of war. Look at what remains of your gallant scouts.
Dude, the kid killed him with a boomerang, which apparently is made of steel or some sort of metal. That's horrible. Those fingers being cut off, it did not look realistic. But that's again okay for a movie of this size.
We go in, we kill, we kill.
We do it my way. Fear is our ally. The gasoline will be ours.
It's telling him to look at the big picture. I love the world building they're doing in this movie. So good.
Just walk away.
I will give you safe passage in wasteland.
Just walk away.
I'm not really convinced.
All we have to do is walk away!
No, we're too hard!
And we walk away from here with our lives. What then?
At least with the fuel, we can trade it or something. It's a valuable resource. Oh man, I'm sure Max has a soft spot for kids because he lost his. Again, I like that they're building on his character. Poor kid is a real feral child, right?
Remember,
like, he doesn't even speak properly. Max is about to say something.
2 days ago, I saw a vehicle that had hauled that tanker. You want to get out of here? You talk to me.
That's the most Australian Mel Gibson's ever sounded, by the way.
Now, to do the job, I need 5 gallons of diesel and some high-octane gasoline.
The nighttime cinematography is a little weaker compared to the daytime stuff because there's a lot of noise in the frame. But again, that's a limitation of the budget.
My vehicle and all the juice I can carry. Come on, dog.
Oh, the poor dog doesn't even have a name. Which kind of makes sense, right? Because he doesn't want to be attached to anything or anyone. I also like the score in this scene. Right! Whatever happened to the pilot? And Max is making him carry the fuel.
Lethal, these snakes.
Holy crap. Dude! They've actually got an aerial vehicle. I cannot imagine how valuable a machine like this is after a world war, right?
Do what you want.
I think it's a fair trade. He should be grateful for just being alive in a world like this. Oh man, we're about to get a good chase scene. Wow, that's an insane stunt. Humongous. Lord Humongous. Yeah, the actual filmmaking is so creative. And making it look this good. Dude, the pilot helped. Oh man, what an explosion.
Gate! The gate!
What I love about these action sequences is the fact that you can follow what's happening on screen so easily. That's a testament to the great editing of these scenes.
You did a great job. Shoot! Shoot! Go!
This machine of yours.
take two. Ken?
Possibly.
24 hours?
They don't have that much time.
They've got 12.
I was wrong about you. I'm sorry.
An actual apology.
It's been a pleasure doing business with you, but I'm leaving.
But something tells me that he'll be drawn to this community once again. Oh man, they're literally killing members of that community, and they can't do anything about it because they can't leave the compound quite yet. They'll be exposed. Are they actually sneaking off?
Just seems really wrong sneaking away like this. This is my family.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna leave these people.
Good for you, kid.
I'm sorry.
I don't blame him for leaving either. It's not like he has a lot of attachment to this community. But I also don't think the pilot is a bad guy.
I want you to drive the tank.
You have to come, Sonny. This is where we're going. Paradise.
The Sunshine Coast?
What burned you out, huh? Kill one man too many? See too many people die? Lose some family?
Yeah, ding, 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 ding.
Do you think you're the only one that's suffered?
Good point.
We've all been through it in here. You're out there with the garbage. You're nothing.
He doesn't mean that. He's just angry that Max is not going to help them.
Yeah, kid.
Making a serious mistake. Splitting a great team.
It's Wes. They see his car and they're going to chase him. Look at this footage. It's definitely sped up, by the way. Dude, nitrous oxide, NOS. Is this the earliest film with NOS in it? Oh, dude. Just like that? Our V8 Pursuit Special gets destroyed? Oh, man.
The tanks are full already, Wes, and it's all yours!
They killed the dog. I hate him. But the car is going to explode! That was a fantastic explosion. But not only the Pursuit Special got destroyed, Max's dog is dead. But this community is the only thing Max has left. Right? What makes... Oh yeah, the helicopter dude found him. Everybody's looking at him.
Which will give all of you a very, very good chance. Don't hesitate.
But it's a solid plan. Splitting them up. The tanker goes one way and the gang chases the tanker.
I'll drive that tanker.
Quite a big change of heart.
Believe me, I haven't got a choice.
Yep.
And how do you think you'd do it?
I'm the best chance you've got.
That's true. Looks like Wes is being punished for not listening to Lord Humongous. No way! Yeah, you're not gonna stop the feral child. I just can't get over the number of vehicles and how they look so modified and broken down. The entire aesthetic of the movie is just great. And a lot of other filmmakers, from what I read, got their influence, the look of their post-apocalyptic world from this movie. That was the best explosion in not only this movie, but also the previous one. Holy crap, that looks fantastic! And it's all practical, by the way. We know that for a fact. These lower angle shots of the vehicles, they make them look more menacing. They make them look bigger. Putting that feral child on board really raises the stakes, especially because we know that George Miller isn't scared of killing children in his movies. Max's child dies in the previous one, so you never know what's going to happen. And there's also a parallel between this scene and the 2015 Mad Max, because both of them had tankers. Again, I can see where they got the inspiration or what they built on. Dude, your hands are on fire. Oh, man. Oh, Dude. And I have to assume the other members of the community are making their escape. Oh. And they shot the tires. How dumb of them. If the tanker crashes, it's just going to blow up. So what's the point? We all know what that means. No, not the pilot! Oh, they turned on the NOS. No music, no nothing, just the heartbeat. That was a good jump scare. Holy crap. Firstly, Humongous is dead, Wes is dead, and secondly, what? So the leader of the community is dead, the leader of the gang is dead. That's sand. And the gang, they're leaving. Is the tank just full of sand? So where is the fuel? At least the kid survived. So the leader kind of sacrificed himself as a distraction so his community could live. Wow, that's actually very nice. Ah! Guess who's alive?
And so began the journey north to safety. Among us we found a new leader, the man who came from the sky, the gyro captain.
The gyro captain, that's his name. He's the new leader.
The precious juice was hidden in the vehicles. As for me, I grew to manhood. In the fullness of time, I became the leader, the chief of the great northern tribe.
Wow! So that feral kid was the narrator all along. And that was the last they saw of the Road Warrior. What a legend! What a film! That was fantastic! Oh man, there's so much to talk about. This was so good. Is number 3 as good as this? I think the third one is called Thunderdome. I really enjoyed this movie, guys. Okay, I took quite some time in collecting my thoughts. First off, what a wonderful movie. I was engaged the entire, 93-minute runtime. And I can see why this film is considered to be a classic action film. George Miller's direction here, it was top-notch, along with Mel Gibson as Max. The world building was great. The characters, although a little unrealistic, felt like they were a part of this dystopian world. They did feel rooted inside this particular world. The sound design and the score, they were fairly memorable, and the action. Holy crap, the action and the stunt work here, they were the highlights of the movie for me. Considering the budget, I cannot believe how realistic the car chases and the crashes looked and sounded. It's because it was all practically done. Obviously, it was very good. But I have to say, although the practical effects, they were great for the most part, especially the crashes and explosions, some of the prosthetic and makeup work, they did not age very well. For example, the bloated corpse at the beginning of the movie, or that dude's finger being chopped off by the boomerang. But we have to put it in context, right? The budget was small. It was bigger than the previous film, but small nonetheless. And what they achieved with the money was nothing short of phenomenal. One other small criticism I had was the overuse of fadeaway transitions. I think there was a 10-minute period where we had like 3 or 4 of them. I mean, they had their desired effect of showing the passage of time, but I did feel like they were a little overused in my opinion. Putting that aside for now, let's start with the directing by George Miller and the script by him, Terry Hayes, and Brian Hannant. Let's be real, the story here was not the central focus. The plot was very simple. Max is a nomad who lost everything and he needs fuel. That oil refinery community, they had fuel, and the gang was a common enemy between these two. So they kind of team up and quote unquote defeat the bad guys. That's about it. But what it lacked in complex storytelling, the film made up in spades with world building and great character work. But the most impressive aspect of the film for me was the fact that Miller and the writers, they achieved all of this with minimal dialogue. Even if I didn't speak any English at all, I probably would have understood 80-90% of the story. That in itself made this movie very accessible to a large audience. That's very commendable, especially because I didn't feel like Miller was spoon-feeding the audience with too much exposition. It's left to the viewer to take the world in and understand it mostly through visual, and that's great. The characters in the movie, they were also awesome, led by an amazing performance from Mel Gibson. His acting here, I felt like it was even better than the previous film because it builds on it. And the fact that the movie acknowledges his personal loss, like his wife and child dying, well, getting killed actually, not dying, that made his character very relatable. I also like that Max wasn't a superhero. In a lot of action films, the hero, they're infallible. Here, he was just a hero. I like that he was a person with human flaws who gets hurt and is vulnerable and comes back from that. I also love the characters of the gyro pilot, especially his love story or that little story arc with that girl, and also that feral kid who was great. The reveal at the end that he was the narrator and a big leader in the future was a real surprise because I kind of thought he couldn't speak, but I guess he learned it later. I was also very sad that our V8, the Pursuit Special, got destroyed here, but there was a good reason for it, and it looked great, so I'm kind of okay with it. The central pursuit of this film was fuel, and I thought that was brilliant because in a world like this, I can imagine fuel being an invaluable resource. I also wanted to mention that the movie felt distinctly Australian. Distinctively, please correct me. From the landscape to the people and their accents, it felt very authentic because it was shot on location in the Australian outback with a lot of locals. I lived in Australia for the better part of a decade, almost 6 years or so, and I can tell you that it looked and felt very Australian. Moving on to the real highlight of the film for me, the production end. Let's get one thing out of the way. The action sequences, especially the car chases, they were amazing, and the camera work and the cinematography in those scenes in particular were top tier considering the budget. The lower angle shots made the cars look bigger and more menacing. The fact that they didn't cut away from the collisions or the explosions, that was great. The cinematography in the darker shots, I think they suffered. It was due to money. I could tell that there was a lot of noise in the frame. I did have a hard time in seeing stuff on screen in those sequences, but thankfully there were not too many of those. And although I love the practical stuff, like I mentioned before, some of the effects, like the prosthetic work, didn't age particularly well, in my opinion, but that's not a real complaint. When a movie is this good, small things like that, they're kind of forgivable. Finally, the sound design and the score, they were also very good. The movie sounded rough around the edges, and there was a lot of noise, for lack of a better term, and grime everywhere. It really rooted the entire film in this post-apocalyptic world. As I've talked about my small criticisms already, overall, Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior, is in fact a classic action movie. An improvement in almost every way to its predecessor, Mad Max 2 delivers in almost all the aspects that really matter. From the excellent writing and direction from George Miller to one of Mel Gibson's career-defining performances as Max, this movie was a real roller coaster ride. With a budget as small as this, I cannot believe how large they made this dystopian world feel. Apart from very minor issues, this film was near perfect when it came to the characters, the action, the world building, chase scenes, crashes, score, practical effects, and most importantly, the explosions. I highly recommend this movie to everyone who's over 16 or 18 because there's some nudity. But it's essential viewing for film lovers and an important milestone in action and dystopian movies. What about the third film, guys? Thunderdome. If that's worth reviewing on the channel, please let me know. I cannot wait. If not, I'll just watch it on my own time, but I can't wait for the third film. Anyways, thank you for watching. I have a Patreon page. Please consider me a Patreon. Please subscribe to the channel. Click that bell icon for instant notifications. Do check out my other videos. Like if you like this video. Feel free to dislike it if you didn't. I will see you on the next one. Bye.